This afternoon, I take an excerpt from just concluded work Horizons from Beyond the Mind. An excerpt from the Horizons Beyond the Mind. Inner space essential to receive. Inner space essential to receive. An excerpt from Horizons Beyond the Mind. Human mind is the questioning mind. Mind can only ask questions without a break. In the process of asking, it forgets the importance of the inner space. It never cares for inner space, and it is never ready to receive answers. To receive answers, inner space, uncontaminated, is needed. Indeed, there are two types of questioning. The first type of questioning comes not because you do not know. The first type of questioning comes not because you do not know, but because you know something. It emerges out of your so-called knowledge. Everyone claims to have known everything and then needs a confirmation. You go to one astrologer in search to know what the stars have in treasure for you, but you are not satisfied what he says. So you go to the next one. You have not created the inner space. Even when he is giving you, responding to your questions, there is no space for those questions to come in. It is like something like this. You have invited a guest, but you have no room for the guest to sit down. You have the answer ready. So this first type of questioning comes not because you do not know, but because you know something. It emerges out of your so-called knowledge. You have the answer already. And then you raise the question. You want a further confirmation of your belief. It is so stupid. Whatever you claim to know, you have not really known. Otherwise, there would have been no question arising in you. Remember this, whatever you claim to know, you have not really known. Otherwise, there would have been no question arising. And secondly, all your questions have been arising out of your preconceived answer. There is no inner readiness to receive a new answer. Whenever there is such questioning, it is absolutely useless. It leads you nowhere. Because of your preconceived answers, you are deaf to any possible answer. Never ask because you know something. Who in fact you are testing? Definitely you are not testing you. And testing the master is your ego and ignorance. Remember, he does not answer your question. Instead, he answers your questioning mind. If you know it is good, if you know it is good, then there is no need of a question. And if you do not know, then ask as if you are ignorant, as if you do not know. Unless you feel that you do not know, you are never vulnerable, open and receptive. Receptivity is needed, otherwise you raise a question and do not allow the answer to go in. More or less all questions are like that, and these arise under such circumstances. We have the answer already, and then there is a search for confirmation. You are not confident because you really do not know. You have simply gathered certain information. Now you want someone to give you conviction. You need someone to be a witness to your knowledge, so that you can feel, yes, I am right. This is what had happened to Buddha. When one day a person came to Buddha and he said, I am a believer in God, and I know you believe in God also. What do you say? Buddha said, who says there is God? There is no God. The man, startled, did not know what to say or what to do. He simply went away. Thereafter, another person came and he said, I am a disbeliever in God, and I know you don't believe in the existence of God. What do you say? Buddha said, who said there is no God? There is only God all around and nothing else. So this man also did not get a confirmation of what he came for. So he went away. Thereafter, the third person he came and he said, Bhagavan, I do not know whether God is or not. I really want to know, and seeing you, a feeling is arising in me that you know it. Buddha, this is the way of asking the question. This is the way of inner readiness, inner receptivity, inner vulnerability. The man is coming out of his ignorance that he does not know. He feels that Buddha knows the answer. Buddha has the answer. Buddha told him to come and sit down with your eyes closed. Two of them remain in meditation. And then Buddha, as he opened his eyes, the man bowed down to Buddha in gratitude and then went away. Anand, who was a silent witness to all this up to now, inquired from Buddha, what is this, Master? The first person, he said he is a believer of God. To him you said, there is no God. To the other person, who was a disbeliever, you said, there is God. And to the third person, what kind of message is this? Buddha responded, the first person came, he was not a seeker. He wanted to carry his business with my confirmation as the confirmation of authenticity that Buddha also believes in God. And then the other person, the second one, was a disbeliever. He too wanted the authenticity of my conviction. The third was innocent. The first two, they were cunning. They were not seekers. And the third one has the vulnerability, receptivity and readiness, and he had the inner space to receive the answers from the Master. And only when you have the inner vulnerability, receptivity and readiness, you are willing to listen to the answers, only then the process of transformation will begin. Now, you want someone to give your conviction. You need someone to be a witness to your knowledge so that you can feel, yes, I am right. This is really absent. If you know, your knowledge and knowing itself gives you the confidence. You don't need anybody else. This is really absent. If you know, your knowledge and knowing itself gives you the confidence. It is self-evident. If you know something, then even if the whole world denies that, makes no difference. If you know something, then even if the whole world denies, that makes no difference. And in the same way, if you do not know a thing, and the whole world says, yes, this is right, that too makes no difference for you. Knowledge is self-evident. And ignorance is indeed self-revealing. Remember, knowledge is self-evident and ignorance is self-revealing. So never ask questions from your knowledge. If you know, it is good. If you do not know, then be conscious that you do not know and ask from your conscious ignorance. The ignorance has to be conscious, only then it can transform. If you do not know, then be conscious that you do not know and ask from your conscious ignorance. Only then you will create inner space for answer to grow in you. In Zen, they allow you to learn something for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and then you have to forget about that thing for the same number of years, and then it grows in you as your own growth, and that emerges as your own growth. The second type of questioning is authentic, sincere and honest. It always arises from the feeling that you do not know. But your doors are open. Now you are ready to invite the guest. Otherwise you invite the guest and your house is completely closed. Then you do not really invite. If you invite, then make a space for the guest to come in. If you invite someone, this is a normal tradition, etiquette that we are all aware of. When you invite someone, you make the arrangement, you arrange your house in such a way that the person feels comfortable, and you make some delicacies or lunch or dinner so that all the arrangements are there to welcome you. But when you are receiving an answer from the Master, you don't want any inner preparation. Certainly there you need more preparation because it concerns with your innerness. If you invite, then make a space for the guest to come in. If you have ready-made answers, then you have no space within you to receive the answer from the Master. Questioning is useless if there is no space to receive. Questioning is useless if there is no space to receive. Introspect when you are asking a question. if there is any space to receive the answer within you, first create this space and then ask. Then the question is not merely intellectual or mental. You are totally involved in it. Your whole being is at stake. This is what is meant by being existential. Now the question comes from your very existence or from your very being. The first type of questioning is always conditioned by others because it is emerging out of your knowledge. You have heard something somewhere, you want to get it confirmed and use it as your conviction, so you ask. And you remember whatever you have heard, it is conditioned by the others. This is the first type of questioning. The first type of questioning is always conditioned by others. This must be understood very clearly. Ignorance is yours, and your so-called knowledge is given by others. Ignorance is more existential than so-called knowledge. That seems ignorance is more existential than so-called knowledge that you seem to have gathered. If you do not know, this not knowing is yours. If you say, I know because I have read Bhagavad Gita, I know because someone has said such a thing somewhere, or because Buddha has said so, and I have become acquainted with it, therefore I know, this knowledge is not yours. This is conditioned by others. And remember, your ignorance is more valuable than others' knowledge. At least it is yours. Something can be done with it. Something can be done with your ignorance. It is real and existential. Nothing can be done with a fiction. The real can be transformed. However, nothing can be done with a fiction or imagination. Imagined knowledge, based only on information, is fictitious. It is dangerous and not existential. Therefore, ask a question, inquire about something through your existential feeling, not your accumulated mental information. If you really ask from your ignorance, then your question will be universal in a way and individual in a way, because when you ask from your ignorance, you ask about a problem that is the same for everyone. This is why it is universal. And because you are asking out of your ignorance, it is existential as well. It is your own question. If you ask from your knowledge, then the problem differs. A Hindu will never ask a question that a Muslim or Christian will ask. Remember, a Hindu will never ask a question that a Muslim or Christian will ask. A Christian will never ask the same question that a Jain will ask. A Muslim's knowledge is different from that of a Hindu. However, there is nothing as Muslim ignorance or Hindu ignorance or Christian ignorance. Ignorance is universal and existential, but certainly knowledge differs. Muslim knowledge is different from Hindu or Jain or Christian knowledge. If your questioning comes out of your knowledge, it is bound to come out of your social conditioning. Then it is not universal or existential. When a Muslim asks something, he himself is not really asking. that which has been forced upon him or that which he has been conditioned, and indeed it is that conditioning which is asking. Muslim asks something. He himself is not asking, it is not his question. That which has been forced upon him or that which has been conditioned, and indeed it is that conditioning which is asking. His questions are Muslim questions, not existential, only Christian questions. The real man is hidden behind the mask of Mohammedanism. The imposed Muslim or imposed Hindu is asking the question. Then it is superfluous. And whatsoever answer is given is not going to benefit your debts. In such case, the question was never from your debts. Existential questioning means that you go through all the conditioned layers of your being and ask just as pure, naked existence, not as a Muslim, Sikh or Jain. Existential questioning means that you go through all the conditioned layers of your mind and ask just as pure, naked existence, not as a Muslim, Sikh or ask as if you have not been given any answers before. Put your answers aside. Then your question will be individual in a way, because it has come from, it will be individual because it has come from you, and it will simultaneously be universal because whenever someone goes inside him so deeply, below the layers, below the conscious, subconscious and unconscious layers, so deeply the same question emerges out of everyone. So this question is individual because it has come out of you, and it is universal because you have gone to the deepest core of your being, filtering through the conscious, subconscious and unconscious layers, and these layers in everyone remains the same because your collective unconsciousness, your unconsciousness is collective. You are part of the whole. Look at the crowd. When you are part of the crowd, your consciousness is collective. And as a part of the crowd, you will engage into certain activities which as an individual you may not. This is what happens when we look at the demonstrations and things like these. We behave in such an indecent manner which as an individual you will never act like this. Your unconsciousness and the subconscious layer is, now you look at it, what is the example of? Every individual, be he Hindu, Christian, Jain, Buddhist or Muslim, he will get angry in the same way, he will be miserable in the same way, he will be ignorant in the same way. The outer expressions may differ, and it does not matter to what nationality you belong to, what race, what cultural background you belong to, your anger will be the same. You will get angry in the same way. This is a collective level. This is collective unconscious. Although although this anger is expressing through you, but you are part of the collective unconscious. As a result, it is existential or universal in nature also. Then your question will be individual in a way because it has come from you, and it will be simultaneously universal because whenever someone goes inside you so deeply, the same question comes. So be existential in asking and never ask from your knowledge. Instead ask from your ignorance, which is more sublime. If you want transformation, then ask from your ignorance, be aware of your ignorance, and somehow the society, the social upbringing has made it so different that whenever you do not know or you are ignorant, it is considered as a guilt. But when you are you go on expressing the borrowed sentences, or you do not feel guilty in anything. But for ignorance, the society has made you feel guilty that you do not know. So what if I do not know? Am I supposed to know everything? Certainly not. The whole existence is a mystery. The more you know, the more you will find you do not know. What is the fuss about it if I do not know anything? That is it, full stop. We have to change our ways and means. And we should not feel guilty of something which is existential. Something which is correct. You are ignorant through which you enter into the process of knowing, in the process of transformation. If you come to me and you say that I have read Bhagavad Gita, I know that, why have you come to me? Don't waste your time, continue doing the same thing that you have been doing. Someone came to me many years ago. He said, I have been meditating for so many years. Every day I meditate. I said, then why have you come here? If you are meditating, that is perfectly okay with me. Continue with the meditation and you don't need to come to me. Because you are already meditating, and when you come to me and you ask, I will tell you meditate. And that you are already doing. Now you do not people do not expect these kind of answers. The person remained quiet because he did not have any answer. He didn't have anything else to say. So he wrote a note saying that he had been meditating but nothing has happened to him. Now he has accepted his ignorance. Then something can be done. If you know everything, then don't come to me. There is something lacking, something that needs answer. There is inner preparedness, and that preparedness is willingness to accept the answers from the Master. Only then transformation can be possible. If you want transformation, then ask from your ignorance. Be aware of your ignorance. Go deep in your unconscious and subconscious layers and find that questioning which is coming out of your ignorance and not out of your knowledge. Only then transformation is possible. Only then transformation is possible. To know something, you have to create inner readiness, inner space. Only then the answer can come to you. only this much on this particular topic.